Hi y'all, Shulamit Lazarus here. Coach, I never know what to say. I have to tell you. Grandma, flower child. Coach, frequency whisperer, clairsentient. You can learn more about me in the links. I woke up in the middle of the night with this statement, and this happens to me quite often, that something is going on inside me, and while I'm sleeping something will come up and it'll be very strong. And what came up inside me, the statement that was very clear that rang out in my mind while I was sleeping, is that a house divided will fall. And so that what we're dealing with here is a house being divided. And what is going on in our country is a tremendous spiritual challenge. We are being hit by such darkness that it's almost unimaginable. However, we have tremendous power. And I want to talk about that because it can seem like we're helpless. It can seem like we're powerless. There are things that are going on with this election that can make us feel defeated. I am somebody who walked away from the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party is not the party that I once knew and that I once felt proud to be a part of. And the thing that was the core, at least for me, in the Democrat Party is love. That was the core. It was about love. Where do you hear that now? Where do you hear the word love anywhere in what the left is saying? Where do you hear it? It's not there. It's not there in their policies. It's not about uplifting people. It's not about protecting life and the potential for a being to completely experience manifesting on this physical plane, because we know that we are all born from divine love. It is divine love that clots our blood. It is divine love that breathes our breath. It is the divine love that heals us all the time without being asked. It is the divine love that brings our tears, that normalizes our energy field. It is the divine love that is our source. And everyone has the right to experience that. So no one's talking about love in the policies that that Harris has talked about in terms of voting no for the Born Alive Act, which just allows a baby that is born from a botched abortion to have an opportunity to have medical care, which is what every human being would want. How could anyone say no to that and stand in love? And Biden wanting to have everyone pay taxes regardless of their spiritual conviction, and I'm not even talking religion, I'm talking about spiritual conviction, because I don't have a dogma that I attach to. I have a direct line to source. And that's all I ever wanted, and that's all I ever listened to. And so Biden then is willing to have a child be terminated up until the last day, end trimester. And he stands in love. He calls himself a religious man. And he wants everyone's taxes to go to that and calls that women's health care. That's not standing in love. And never mind taking God out of the Pledge of Allegiance, which is a major statement right there. And so I think about, there's so many things, because I'm a healer and I'm a coach and I work with families and I work with relationships. I do so much of the many, many ways that I look at things, and I'm trying to keep this short because people's attention spans are short nowadays. So I think about this from a perspective of a child being brought up in a family, and if the family that they're being brought up in is always saying, you're dark, you're restricted, you're poor, you're victim, but someday you might actually be worth paying attention to. Or you have somebody who says, I see who you can be. I know the dream that you can live. I'm here to uplift you. I'm here to let you know that I'm going to make that dream as possible for you as I can, but you also need to work, and you need to deserve it, and you need to experience self-pride, and you need to strengthen yourself, and I am here to support you. And I care about you, and I see you, and I care about what you need, and I want to be fair. Which child in which family is going to grow to their possibility? Which one is going to emanate love? This is the left that we're seeing now. This is what showed up in the DNC. They are constantly telling us America, which means all of us, is not acceptable, is dark, is victim, is perpetrator. But someday America is going to be great. Yeah? And this is what Trump is doing. Trump is saying, I see you, I uplift you, I believe in you. And this is why he is so loved. This is where the love is. I don't hear it here. I don't hear it here. I hear hate. But here's our challenge spiritually, and that is we can't fall into that. We can't fall into that. And the reason for that is there's something called the morphogenetic field. And the morphogenetic field is the data field, the informational field that is affecting everybody's consciousness. It is something that Carl Jung talked about in terms of the collective unconscious. We now know that we are fields within fields within fields. I can feel energy with my mind. That's how I knew about Trump and his honesty when he was saying things. I can feel energy in my mind, and that's how I know when people are lying. And that's how I know when they're terrified, despite the fact that they are not showing it on their face. Like Hillary didn't show a thing on her face when she was dealing with emails. The volume was completely down, and all I knew is, oh my God, she's terrified of something. But I was completely clueless, and at the time, I wasn't even involved in politics, so there was no investment at all in being right about that. However, that same field affects all of us. So our challenge spiritually is to find a way inside us, despite everything that's going on, to put out love. I'm going to be 70 very soon. I was and still am a flower child. That has never changed. You will never, ever take that out of me, because those are the values of Christ. Those are the values that are open to other perspectives with respect. That power of love is so incredibly strong that literally it can overcome obstacles mentally, emotionally, physically, generating the frequency of love. And if you find it hard to do, you can practice it. You can sit quietly and bring somebody to mind or an animal to mind that brings love into your heart, that brings a smile on your face. And then from that place inside your heart, imagine loving that being with every single cell of your body. Feel it with every single sense that you have, visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, and radiate that love out. And when you feel that every cell of your body is filled with love, then radiate it out to somebody that you may have a difference with. And practice that. Let yourself feel that. If you hit any obstacle, then just stay with it. Just stay with it. And keep the love radiating. And keep doing that, knowing that that is really what everything is about. Love is absolutely essential. It sounds so trite, but it's not. Because as we generate the frequency, it moves into the morphogenetic field that is the information that runs everything. It is the collective unconscious. And we have the opportunity, by bringing love to the darkness, by bringing compassion to the fear that is showing up. And that's what ego is. It is fear. Ego is a disconnect. It is an imposter self. It is a disconnect from spirit. It is a disconnect from the divine source. We're not talking psychological ego. We're talking about spiritual ego. That is the self that starts feeling like it's coming from scarcity. That is the self that looks for things to fill itself up because it's not filled through the true divine source that it is made of. So love is absolutely essential. Loving everywhere you go and on everybody that you meet, love on them. You're actually loving on them. You're loving into them. You're imbuing them with love. Before any conversation, bring the love first. The heart goes into the future and gets the information and then brings it back and tells the brain, and the brain tells the body what to do. We have this as absolute evidence from Heart Math Institute experiments that were done. So your heart goes out and touches the person before they even know, before you even have a connection. Verbally, you already have a connection into the future, to their heart. You are that powerful. We absolutely must remember the power of love is beyond any other frequency. And if we keep showering that frequency and that love, we have the possibility of helping people wake up, helping their hearts open without even realizing what's touching them. Because it's the same as mob mentality. In mob mentality, the group picks up the morphogenetic field that is resonating at that moment. There is a mob mentality that's going on now. The BLM, the Antifa, everything that's going on, that's a mob mentality. And you see how it's infecting, right? Love is as wonderfully and more powerfully infectious. And we need to use that. It's a spiritual opportunity for us to look at our shadow, at our darkness, at places where we're greedy, where we're angry, where we're hateful, where we come from scarcity. Remember that I already told in another video that we unfold with and partner with the reality that we have. We're not separate from it. There is no law of attraction. It is the law of creation. And when you really get the implications of that, you realize that what you're seeing on some level is your shadow. It's not anybody, nobody's talking about this. And I might get, hate comments, but hopefully the people that are listening will really get what I'm saying, is that we have a spiritual opportunity here to own what's dark in us, to own what we've pushed away, to own what we've projected, and to own it with love, because we're always doing the best we can. To give ourselves compassion, to give ourselves understanding, to give ourselves love. And if we can find that, to give those players, the dark players, see them for the fear that runs them, despite how strong they look on the outside. They are scared. See that. Come from that place. Shower everything with love, everything with blessing. To bless means to activate that of God in something. Shower everything with blessing. Yourself, your body, your mind, your heart, life, and everyone. I remember sitting, I come from a Holocaust background, and I remember sitting, first generation, my mom was in the Holocaust, and I remember it came to me when I was sitting in church. I was in a spiritual community. I was sitting, and it may be very hard to understand, or you may completely understand what I'm saying, but it came to me that the Nazis, the soldiers that acted out the things they did, they desperately needed love. More than anything, they needed love, because that was such a disconnect from spirit, such a hollow life. Anyway, that's what came up for me, and I just wanted to share it. As always, I love your comments. I try and answer to them. If you want to learn more about what I do, you can go to shulamitlazarus.com. It's a very funky website right now because it's in the middle of being done. And I'm always happy if you connect with me on Facebook, if you want to friend me or message me. To me, it's about connection. And if you want more of my videos, hit subscribe. Now I feel like an advertisement. Okay, I'm sending you all love. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.